welcome, welcome. This is the second of three videos that I'm going to make in regards to um, the challenge. Wow, I have notes, but I'm kind of going off the cuff here. So, welcome and thank you for joining me. Got a few things here going on. I tried to figure out, where I was going to go with this one, and honestly, nothing is coming to my brain. So, I do have some notes. Hopefully, that will keep me on track, and it will help in some way. I know that from my last video, I learned a lot. I learned to speak up because people can't hear me. I do have a microphone, but it doesn't seem to be connecting, I guess. I need to figure that out, so I'll work on that. Hopefully you guys can hear me this time. I have so many ideas. That's what was going to be my thumbnail. I think that's what it's going to be. And then where do I start? Where do I start? And it's like, okay. So I'd like today to be my focus to be on what I'd like my channel to be about. So like I said, I have probably 100 ideas in my head. I just don't know which one it's gonna take off. You know what I mean? So if you all want to comment and give me ideas, if you think that the direction that I'm going is a good direction, please feel free to chime in. I'd love to hear the feedback. So yeah, let's see here. My primary idea when I first started thinking about having a YouTube channel was to show others my art and my crafts. And my ideas anyway. I'm not an artist. I don't consider myself an artist. I like to dabble in a lot of different things. So, but I thought, if I could share that with people, and maybe that be something that they would enjoy, sharing those things with me, that would be great. So emphasizing on the well-being of how art has helped me through some really difficult times in my life. Things that that I've had to endure over time. It's kind of been my go-to. So yeah, so I think that's probably a good direction to go. So I would figure out the logistics of being face to face with the camera in the beginning, or somewhere within the video, and then showing my hands, so the face down, or the camera going down onto my hands, and showing my process of doing whatever it is that I'm doing. So right now I'm doing sorry, slow stitch and embroidery. So mostly slow stitch right now. So I've got a lot of different little projects that I've got going on, and I find that to be extremely peaceful for me. You just kind of just start sewing, and I think that's something that a lot of people could get some use out of. It helps me anyway. I don't know, maybe maybe not, I don't know, but so I'm not a professional, like I said, but I enjoy the process and learning new ways to do crafts. And like I said, at the time right now, I'm doing slow stitch and embroidery. So those are the two that I was gonna focus on. But I have I started out doing watercolor. I may have mentioned all of this before in my other video, so forgive me if I've repeated myself. Those are some of the things that I started out doing, and I enjoy that. I enjoy it a lot. So I might, put some of that into the video, show some techniques that I've learned, maybe something that other people haven't learned, but I doubt it. I mean, there might be some things in there that might be new. Maybe some mixed media, that would be kind of fun. Let's see what else. And then another idea that came up. Sorry, I didn't mean to just sit there for a second, and my brain kind of just stopped. Another idea that I came up with was to share some of my life experiences. I'm 61 now. I've been through a lot in my life, so I think maybe some of what I've been through could help people out there. So that's a plan, that's an idea that I considered. So there's like 3 turning points in my life was something that came up just recently. And I mean, I could tell you probably more than 3. I'm sure there was probably dozens, but 3 that came to mind right away was leaving California. I live in Washington right now, but leaving California for the first time. I was 19, 20? I think I was 20. And I moved back to Indiana. So usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, there was my ex-husband was the reason. Anyway, so that was the first time that I left home. My mom was devastated. She just, she thought that was the end of the world. She thought that I was making the biggest mistake. And, moms always know best. So she was probably right. And but you know what? I think about, there are no mistakes. I think that we learn from everything that goes on in our lives, and good, bad, and indifferent. So I think that if I wouldn't have done that I wouldn't have learned what I learned. So that's one of the turning points in my life. And then the birth of my son, that was another obvious turning point, and I'm sure that's probably true of a lot of people. He's 36. He'll be 36 next month. So yeah, he was definitely something that the birth of him definitely changed the trajectory of my life. It just seemed like after he was born, I no longer thought about myself anymore, and all I wanted to do was make sure I took care of him, and I did everything I could to make that happen. And there were a lot of stumbling. I did not, I was not perfect, but after I left my ex-husband, my son was 3 at the time. So yeah, that was another turning point. So but I had, I left everything. At the time, we lived in Florida because we moved from Indiana to Florida. Anyway, long story. I don't want to go into all of that, but that was, like I said, I was 25 years old when I had him. So that was another turning point in my life. And then the last one that came to mind, which is, not necessarily a good thing, but again, it's a point in my life that I realized some very important things, and that's when my cat died, and she died last September. I had her for almost 15 years. She died of cancer, and she was my family. She was my baby. She went with me everywhere. She traveled with me all over the place. She was always there by my side, and when she died, that was a huge turning point in my life. So made me really think about life in itself and how important every day is. So those are things that that I thought that I would talk about. Also, there's been a couple of ideas floating around in my head too. My channel name doesn't really indicate what it is that I'm doing. I came up with that name because it's something that, it was kind of the spur of the moment kind of the thing. So first I started out with Sunday's Crafting Journey, and that one was the one that I stuck with for my main YouTube channel, which is, not the one I videotape on. And then I came up with the Wild Daffodil Arts and Crafts is what I landed on, which I'm not satisfied with that. So again, if you guys have ideas, a couple of the things that came to mind was instead of using that, the daffodil is pretty beautiful. I love the flower, but I was thinking using my nickname, which is Sunny. That's what I was always called when I was growing up. I was, that was my nickname. So I think that, maybe Sunny's Crafting Journey or Sunny's Crafting Space, or maybe not put crafting in it at all and just put Sunny's Journey, something like that. That might be the way to go. That way I don't have to narrow my channel on just crafting. I could do other things, like right now I'm just talking about life. So that, those are some thoughts that have been swarming around in my head. I don't know what would be the best direction. I guess just try something out and see where it goes. And if it seems to resonate with people a lot, and I get a lot of views, or a lot of likes or subscribers, or whatever the case might be, then I'll stick with that one. It's really hard to tell right now what would click with a lot of people. I know there's a lot of crafting videos out there. There is a lot of wonderful creators. They have just blown me away. I watch so many different creators, and they just are so amazing, and I don't know how it is that they do what they do. But anyway, I will be doing at least one video a week. I'd like to do two, but I'm going to start out with one and see where that goes. I'm still learning. I got a couple of books on an editing program, the CapCut, and I also got a book on Canva, because that's the way I learn best, is if I can look at something, read it, and then do it. By somebody telling me how to do it, I can't do that. So it's just too hard for me. So so far I've gotten pretty good. I'm gonna keep going, but so I don't know if I'll edit this video. I might try and see if I can, but if not, I'll just upload it the way it is, and hopefully that's okay with you all. Yeah, so there's all that. I don't know if there's anything else that I need to talk about. Gosh, let's see. Yeah, I'm really glad that I'm doing this challenge, because it really has challenged me. And I would like to continue. I don't know what the plan is for after this challenge is over this month, but I sure do hope that we, as a group, at the Creators Cove, I hope that, that there's more, that there's more challenges, or there's, more accountability. That would be really nice, because I think that might be something that I need, because I get sidetracked, or I'll lose motivation pretty easy. So I'm hopeful that that doesn't happen. Again, I don't have any expectations. I think that's the best way to go about this. For anybody that's starting a YouTube channel, I think it's probably a really good idea to just don't have any expectations, and try to do this for yourself. Just do it for yourself. And that's hard for me, because I don't normally do things for myself. It's usually motivated by doing for others. That's just the person that I am, always have been. I don't think that's very uncommon for for a lot of people. So it's a whole new environment for me to be able to do for myself and have fun. That's a very foreign concept to me, having fun. When people say, well, just go and have fun, I'm like, I don't know what that means. Because I don't think I've allowed myself to have fun, to let go. And even with my art, I was thinking about with the mixed media and how freeing, people are with, just putting marks down on a piece of paper and creating all these different things. And I thought, like a child, you just basically just kind of letting it all go and just don't throw caution to the wind, so to speak, and just let it go and just have fun, and I don't remember what that feels like, and I kind of reflect back on my childhood, and surely I had fun at some point in time in my life as a child. I'm sure that I did, but it seems like the negative always tends to cloud it. Like I went through a lot of trauma growing up, and so I think that tends to overshadow some of the good stuff that happened in my life, all the way through from being from a young girl to adulthood. So I haven't allowed myself to really let that go. So I'm gonna try better, and hopefully, who knows, maybe doing this YouTube thing will be another one of those things, those turning points in my life that will let me be who I am. And I think that's another one. I forgot who I am. So yeah, maybe I'll find myself. Maybe y'all can help me find myself. So anyway, I think that's it for today. I'm gonna when I come back from my next video, I'm gonna try the whole showing my face either in the beginning or in within the video, and then I'm gonna do top down and maybe do some crafts and let you guys see some of my stuff, and I'll show some of the things I've already done, and maybe I'll work on, I can plan to put something together while I show the video. So that is all I have for today. I hope that I can get this uploaded today. If I don't, I'll do it first thing in the morning, and I'd like to edit it and see if that's a possibility. So anyway, so hopefully y'all, like I said, will subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and comment. Make sure you're kind. And I look forward to the next video and all the ones after that. Like I said, after this challenge is up at the end of the month, I'm going to continue going. I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to keep going and challenge myself, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully Rob will come up with a new plan. I don't know if anybody knows who I'm talking about. Rob the Maritimer. He's the one that's been doing this challenge, and it has been eye-opening for me. I think it's been something I really needed. It came exactly at the right time, because I don't know if I would have continued doing these videos if I wouldn't have gotten involved in this challenge. So all right, well, you guys take care. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, whatever, and I will see you again soon. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.